Hey everyone, and welcome to Module 2 in the course. I hope you had a good first introductory week. I would like to first send out a wonderful congratulations to everyone. I was reading the discussion board on the scarcity and choice assignment, and it looks like you guys were having a wonderful discussion back and forth about some pretty serious issues, and that really is the fundamental issue in economics, which is everything in this world is scarce. That's the fundamental starting point in economics. And so really it forces us to make choices. We all make individual choices with our time and our money. You guys are choosing to go to school. Obviously, I believe that's an excellent choice of your time, but there are other things that you could have been doing. And really what that podcast and the assignment was supposed to make you see is that every time you make a choice, you create an opportunity cost. And so when you think about that woman that went on the 50 dates, what she was trying to get across to the viewer was that when if she chose to stay with the person who did not end up being her husband, there was an opportunity cost to that. When you find a partner and stay with them, you're giving up the chance to meet, dozens or hundreds of additional people. And so for her, if that person that you're choosing to do that with is not sort of the one for you, then that's a pretty big cost. And so she let that person go, and on the very next date, she meets her eventual husband. Well, you're doing that same thing by going to school. The opportunity cost that you're giving up is to work and earn money. And what you're saying is that opportunity cost is much lower than the opportunity cost of potentially going to work and then giving up an education because you're giving up long-term earnings, right? So let's introduce Module 2. Let's go in here and check out what you guys are going to be seeing next week. This by far is the foundational module of the entire course. So not only should you expect a little bit more detail here, that first module was pretty light, but really this is the place where you should say to yourself, if there's any module that I need to buckle down and fully understand from beginning to end, it's this module. Because every other module in the course really builds off of Module 2. Okay, and some teachers say that, but I really mean it. So, so when you get into the content section, you're going to see your normal soft chalk here. Be aware of this link right here. It can open up in a much bigger window. Sometimes that's easier to read. Make sure you do that. I would just say don't be complacent and not go all the way through the full soft chalk. This is your content. And some of the most important information actually doesn't come to you until page 5. So there's different videos that I've created for you in there. But if you just skip the last page, if you said, oh, you got bored, you got a little tired, you would miss out on a very important concept called consumer and producer surplus. Okay, this is going to become important throughout the course, so make sure that you're going all the way through the soft chalk to get all your content. Okay, moving forward a little bit, the main assignment this week is going to be a supply and demand local research assignment. So this is going to require you to go out into the Central Oregon community, take a look at a place that you go often, and try to understand the supply and demand dynamics of that particular place. It's really straightforward. Once you read through the assignment, it'll be very clear and easy to understand. You do need to include a graph and a tiny bit of analysis, but it's not a very difficult assignment. Then there's a interesting worksheet here, which is going to demonstrate for me whether you understand the graphs of supply and demand, very important thing. But I really want to just focus on this Newton activities for just a second. So after you go through the soft chalk and you feel like you understand the supply and demand content fairly well, you're going to come to your Newton activities. Now, like I said, this is a foundational assignment. In the first module you had 3. This time you have 6. And I understand that that is a lot, okay? Believe me, I understand that that is a lot. But it is so foundational to the course that there was not an assignment in here that I couldn't take out. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give these Newton assignments a 2-week window, not a 1-week window. And the reason that I'm doing that is because next week in Module 3, there's only one Newton assignment that takes about 10 minutes. So view this as a 2-week assignment. Do them when you can. Once you really feel like you understand demand, take this Newton assignment. I bet you'll fly through it. You've got demand, supply, equilibrium, and then shifts in demand and shifts in supply, which are really, really important. And then obviously what happens to price and quantity here in this last one. So again, I'm going to put it in the notes also here. This is now a 2-week assignment. Okay? And then you have your normal supply and demand assessment at the end. So it's a pretty straightforward week, but it is a lot more work. Not every module will be this big. Module 3 will be pretty quick. A couple of the other modules, vary in length and assignments. So if you have any questions, obviously please text me, email me, and I wish you the best of luck this week, and I hope you guys have a great week. All right?